Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Barry, and I know it's been a little while since I had a video up. I started a new job at the beginning of March, so I haven't had the chance to really settle into my new schedule, and haven't been able to fit recording or anything into it, but I've been working it around a little, and I should be able to get back into uploading more consistently from now on. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. But anyway, let's just get into it. Today we're going to be talking about Phibian. Phibian is the current rebirth mon for the month, alongside Light and Dark Sea Star, who are also there. In case you're wondering, I do already have a Sea Star video up, so feel free to check that out if you're interested. But yeah, let's get on with talking about Phibian. I almost worded that sentence very poorly. I'm happy I picked it up as I was going. But anyway, we'll start off with fire as we always do. Let's just find them real quick. So here we are. Alright. And Phibian, oh, well, let's look at the evil one first, as I always forget. So got this little ninja toad. Very cool. Or frog. I don't know. Are they frogs or toads? Because I don't know how to tell the, difference just looking at them physically, you know? And none of their names give any well, I guess this one, I guess Evo 3 does, because it's like Froske, and it starts with fro, like frog, so I guess they're frogs. But there's that whole Japanese mythological stuff with toad sages and stuff, as you see in Naruto and whatnot. So yeah, very cool. We got this little Jiraiya Gamabunta type character in the game. But anyway, here's the Evo 3. Here's the variant. I prefer the regular, because the variant goes that weird sort of neon magenta color that we see from a lot of fire mons. Looking at the stats, it is a attacker, and it has actually a really good HP stat for a Nat 3 attacker. Its attack is pretty good as well. Its defense is on the low side, which is unfortunate, but what can you do? Looking at the skills, so first off, starting with the leader skill, so we have Fighting Spirit, attack up 30 to 35% in clan battles, which is pretty good for a couple of the Phibians, one of which being Fire, because on 3-star we have defense down 60% 2 turns, and skillbooks make it 80%, give a 20% damage boost there. And then on 5-star we have Blind, 80% 2 turns, and skillbooks give a 25% damage boost. Where you can use it, really only Titans, and early game, maybe mid game at that. I do use 2 Fire Phibians on my alts team for Wood Titan. Sorry, I had to pause. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I've already paused this recording 4 separate times. I swear, every time I try to record, people decide to make the most amount of noise they possibly can in my house, which is part of why I don't record as often as I should. But anyway, with the new job, I'll be looking for a new place to live and all that, so hopefully in the near future that'll no longer be an issue. But anyway, back to Phibian. I do use 2 Fire Phibians on my alts team. I do have them on the left side, which is where they do their best, because their sole purpose against Wood Titan is that defense down. The Blind isn't very helpful against the Wood Titan. You're really having him there for the leader skill and the defense down. And even then, it will fall off, because we will have more defense down mons among the fire element that either have double defense down, or defense down attack down, or defense down courageous strike, as we see with what's it called? Fire Sun Wukong. But Fire Phibian is a pretty good stand-in until you get those mons, and is a lot easier to build, because the other ones are typically 4 stars, except I guess Fire Candling. Fire Candling would be a slightly better mon to have on your Titan team's early game. He is double defense down, which is good, but let me see. I do have my notes here, where I think I did write for Candling, but I might not have actually. Sorry if you guys hear the paper rustling. Yeah, so I think Phibian's rates are higher because it does go to 80% 2 turns, and I think Candling's only goes up to 70% 2 turns for both 5-star and 3-star, but it is double defense down, so it is more consistent. But Candling's leader skill isn't useful there in Titans, so that's another thing to keep in mind when deciding which one you want to use. Using both of them for my Fire Titan team, on my alt, I have got the alt to go up to about like 17 mil, so they are pretty useful. And I should also point out that with the blind, it is also good to have for Light Titan, because blind is very useful there, so it can be used for that as well. I haven't tried it personally, so I can't say that it'll be amazing, but it is something that is definitely worth giving a shot. How I would build it, I would, even though it's an attacker, I'd go full defensively, HP defense, or HP defense, or HP defense. Probably HP defense would be better just because its defense is pretty low, so it could use a lot of investment. And yeah, so we're going to move on now because I realized we talked a very long time about fire. So let's go right on to water, which water should be right about here. Yes, there we are. And does his little spin. Very cool. Here's the variant. I like the regular because the variant's colors are kind of weird to me. I don't know. Like, I like blue, I like purple, all that, but the types of blues and purples, I don't think they go well together. Whereas the variant, it's like very good, very good. Looking at the stats, it is a tank, and it has a really, really high HP stat for a Nat 3. Very good stat there. But its attack and defense are abysmal. They're very low. So, yeah. Which, having that high HP stat is good for its 3-star. As we see, it has Adrenaline, 20%. Skill books make it 25, and give a 20% damage boost. Having high HP, of course, with this percent-based Adrenaline, very helpful. And then on 5-star, we have Stun, 70% 1 turn. Skill books make it 80% and give a 15% damage boost. Where you'd want to use it? PvP. PvP is the only place where Water Phibian would be of any use. In the regular league, it'll be good early on if you don't have any good water tank mons or defender mons, but it will definitely fall off in usage for sure, just because its defense stat is very low and its skills aren't super threatening. But in the Nat 1 to 3 league, that should come eventually. I'm very upset they pushed it back, but you know, they did it for quality reasons, so I can't really complain. But anyway, in that league, I see it doing a lot better, as it is definitely going to be a very good water tank there. And how I would build it, HP defense, or HP defense. HP defense is good, as it helps out its adrenaline a bit, but I feel like HP defense would make it a little bit more survivable, because its defense is very low and can really use a lot more investment than its HP needs. But anyway, not much to say about water other than that. Let's move on to wood real quick. Let's see. Here we are. So there we go. Here's the regular. Very cool. I love the greens. And the variant, also very cool. I feel like the color scheme goes very good for this one. I do like the greens more, but I do think they're both good. Stat-wise, it is a balanced type, but its stats are not balanced. As you can see, it's on the low, and it's pretty much a tank. As we see, very commonly, tanks among Nat 3s to have this similar stat spread. Pretty good HP stat. Its attack and defense are okay. They're not as low as Water's, but also its HP isn't as high, so there's that to keep in mind. Looking at its skills, so we have defense down on 3-star, 80% 1 turn, skill books make it 2 turns, and give a 20% damage boost. Then on 5-star, we have defense down again, 60% 2 turns, skill boosts make it 70%, and give a 15% damage boost. So, this is another very good Titanmon. As we can see, it is a double defense down, unlike Fire, who is defense down and blind. And yeah, just left side on your Titan teams, early, mid-game. Very good leader skill as well for that, so that's another thing to keep in mind if you decide to use it. And also something that I should point out that I forgot to mention when speaking about fire, its animation for its 3-star is very fast, which is very good for a debuffer. As if you have it on the left side, it'll most likely land its defense down before your left side attackers do their thing, which is very good. Just giving you a little bit extra damage there. Its 5-star animation isn't super fast, but it is still pretty quick too, so there's also that. And yeah, how I would build it: HP, HP defense, HP defense, defense. I do also use 2 wood Phibians on my ult for my wood team, and I do have them both on the left side, as I said. Do very well, and my wood team can go up to about, I think the most I've seen it was the other day, it was at like 18 mil on my ult, so they're definitely very helpful there. I know a member of my clan, Celeria, has wood Phibian in their team. I don't know if they still do, but they did for a while. And even then, they managed to get their teams up to like 30, 40 mil and whatnot. Now they're in like 60s, getting close to 70s. And I don't know if they still use Phibian. I think they do, though. So definitely can last you very long in the game. But anyway, let's move on to light, which is a 4-star. So we hopefully won't have to scroll too far down. There we are. Okay. And here's the variant. I like the variant. Yeah, I like the variant a lot. Looking at the stats, it is a defender. It has a really good defense stat. Its HP stat is a little low than what we'd like to see from defenders, but its attack is higher than normal, so it'll do a little bit more damage than most defenders that we see, but it'll also not be as tanky, so that kind of sucks. But anyway, looking at the skills, on 3-star we have Seal, 70% 2 turns, skill boost make it 80%, and I don't actually have a light Phibian at the moment, so I don't know what amount the damage boost is, but it'll give a 10 to 20% damage boost as well. And then same for the 5-star as for damage boost, but speaking about what the skill is, 70% 1-turn stun, skill boost make it 80%, and yeah. So where you use it, PvP. That's really the only place that that light Phibian can be used. Sorry guys, had to pause again, and I was paused for like 15 minutes, so I completely lost my train of thought. So, light Phibian is one of those weird mons where it has potential to be good, but it's not because of the order of its skills. If you switched its skills around, it could actually be pretty decent. And that's because Seal on single target attacks is just never good. Seal is a skill that needs to be AoE, or else it's not very helpful. So, and stun is a skill that works as AoE or single target. Either could be good for stun. So if they switched, it would be a lot better. But because it's not, it does a lot worse. It is still pretty decent as a light mon to put on your defense team early, maybe mid-game, but it'll definitely fall off pretty quickly in terms of PvP. So there is that. Now, let's move on to Dark, the last of the Phibians. And where was it again? There we are. Okay. So here's the regular. Very cool. Love the purples and the variant, all the grays and blacks or whatever. Very cool as well. I mean, I love purple, but I feel like the overall color scheme for the variant looks better, so I'll go with the variant this time. Looking at the stats, it is a balanced type. It has a pretty above average HP stat for a balanced type, and its attack and defense are pretty middle of the road for balanced types among Nat 4s. So overall, pretty good stats. Looking at the skills, so on 3-star we have Battle Rush, 20% on crit, and then on 5-star we have forgot Seal Boost. Seal Boost give a 25% damage boost on the 3-star, and then on 5-star we have Adrenaline, 10% own HP heal to the team, and Skill Boost give a 30% damage boost there. So, now I know people like to talk big about Dark Phibian, but I'm going to tell you the real shit about it right now. Phibian is a mon that has, or Dark Phibian specifically, is a mon that has potential to be good, but it is severely limited because of the insane quality gems that it needs to be good. So first off, its 3-star is crit required, so you're going to need a very high crit rate stat, which you'd ideally want to be 100%. Then, because he is a mon that really can only be used well in PvP, you're going to need to have resist. So getting near max crit rate and near max resist is something that is very difficult to do. So there's that. And then also, you have to sacrifice one of your gem slots for crit rate, because it is I'm going to say that it's impossible to get near max crit rate and max resist without having a crit rate or resist gem. If not impossible, near impossible. And then, also, you do want it to be tanky, because you're typically going to want to use it on PvP defense. That's where I see Dark Phibian more often than not. And so, you're going to need a lot of HP, a lot of defense. So, you're going to want to have a main HP gem, a main defense gem, and then, ideally, HP and defense subs. And more specifically, or leaning more towards HP, because both of its skills are HP based. Then, because it's built max crit and it's dark typing, you're going to kind of want to have a bit more damage to it as well. And its attack set isn't that high to do more damage. So, you're going to need some attack subs. So, moral of the story, it requires a lot of investment to be good. Because if you don't have if you're missing one of those things, either its damage is going to be negligible, it's going to be stun locked, or it's going to be fragile. Whereas Dark Phibian wants to do damage, it wants to tank, and it wants to heal. So, it wants to do everything, but realistically, that's very hard to do. I've probably come across one Dark Phibian that was ever gemmed well enough to be a threat. So, if you really like the mon and you want to put in the investment for him, you can. He can do well, but the amount of investment needed, I really do not think is worth it at all. Trinkets might help a bit more with getting it close to max resist, and also a little bit more HP and defense, but also keep in mind, being a Dark Mon, it has a base 0 resist, so even that 10 to 15% resist that you'll get from trinkets, it's still not going to help too much. And yeah, so overall, it is a decent mon, and can be good, but requires a lot of work. If you do want to use it gem-wise, I'd go crit rate HP defense or crit rate HP. On Ruin, of course, if you can. But anyway, that is it for the Phibians. I don't have any built on my main account to showcase to you guys, or to give you examples of how to build them. If I were to prioritize them, I'd go with wood first, because it is very useful early game. Then I'd go fire, because also very useful early game. Then I would put dark, because it does have the potential to be the best out of dark, light, and water. It does require more investment, but the payoff is better. Then second last, I would put light. Or, actually no, second last I'd put water, because both of its skills do go well together. And they go well in the order that they are. Whereas light being last is solely because it's the arrangement of its skills. If you were to switch light's seal to 5-star and its stun to 3-star, then I'd say it was better than water. But because that's not the case, then I'm going to say water is better than light. But that's going to be it for this one, guys. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, all that. Just to keep you guys updated on the count for how many times I had to pause this recording. It is, I think, 11 times now. So, yeah, very fun time. I'm pretty sure you guys could tell by the middle to end point of the video where I started to sound pretty frustrated. But anyway, that's going to be it for this one. Have yourselves a good day, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.